Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Hope you guys are all doing real well. We're right at 850 subs right now, so thank you to everybody that's subscribed, uh, old and new. I'm really enjoying doing this. I'm having a great time with it. Got lots of good stuff coming. I've been spending some time this last week kind of learning my software and camera angles and that type of stuff. So we're going to work on the limited edition Eduard set, USS Arizona in 1/350th scale this time. And this will be episode 10. So I'm going to get the upper deck glued down and start working on that terrible seam at both ends. And I put the funnel together and I started doing some photo etch. So let's go down to the bench and we'll see how it goes. All right. Okay, guys. I'm going to try this voiceover. My first attempt with the new equipment. Here's where we left off. I've got this part, the upper deck, finished, and I put the strip of styrene down through the middle to block the light. I think it was 5.5 millimeters wide. It doesn't have to be anything special. You could even use like cardboard or something like that if you wanted to. Just anything to keep the light from going through. Okay. I wanted to make sure all the guns would turn, that they were free in there. So I spent quite a bit of time test fitting, and there was a couple of these pieces of photo etch on the side that I had to actually trim. I just used my my hone that I use for sharpening my knife, and just went over that. There it is, and was able to trim the edges just a little bit to get the fit just the way I wanted it. So that's doing good, and everything fits well. So the next step that I want to do is I want to fix the seams on the front and back. But that strip will keep the light from shining through. So it does fit, but it's really a snug fit. And I think I switched cameras. Yeah, so I'll show you here what, there we go, that's camera number 2. So you can see on the end there, it overhangs really bad and there's a gap. So what I want to do is I want to glue everything down and sand that flush. There's a door that's going to go right there, and I want to make sure that the door sits on there flush. So that'll be the next step. We'll be gluing this down and working on filling that seam on the front and the back. That's not supposed to be there. I want to make sure I don't lose those holes on the front turret, because that's where the paravein glues on. Keep those location marks. So that's what that's going to be the next step, is just gluing this down. Everything fits really good. Everything turns good. Nothing's binding as far as the guns go. All right, we'll go on to the next clip, and I'll have it all glued down, and I'll show you what I did after that. Okay, well, that very first clip I did, I forgot to turn the mic on. Still learning this new hardware and stuff I've got here. So I guess maybe I'll try and do a voiceover for that or something. But anyway, I've got the deck all glued down. What I did was I took some of my Instacure 5 to 10 second. This is Bob Smith Industries. They rebrand it for all kinds of stuff. But I put just a dot where every piece of photo etch was, and then set it down. Let me go ahead and switch cameras over here. So every place there's photo etch, I just put a dot of super glue on the deck just to hold it, and then set it in place. All the cannons move real well, so I didn't accidentally glue any of that. And then I took extra thin and I glued this joint. You can see how bad it is. I'm going to have to do some sanding and filing. There is a door that's supposed to go right here, and then there's some ladders and stuff, but the ladders will be put on after I do the wooden deck. But this door will go right across this seam, and I want to make sure that's nice and smooth, and there will be one on the other side also. So I got that glued down, and I also glued this part down, and you can see there's a pretty good seam around that. Now I don't want to fill in these holes, these square holes here, because I think that's where the paravanes mount. So I'll have to make sure and keep those clear. But you can see this seam around here. I want to get rid of that. And also, one of my subscribers, he goes by, his channel's name is Lemon. He is building this also. He was asking me about the, see if I can get it in a good light. Here we go. He was asking me about these plates. Now I did sand the chains off, but I left the plates in place. I've got replacement chains that I'll be using that came with my deck. Okay, the plastic chains that were molded in here were not very good, so I've done that, and these will be painted, and then the wooden deck will go around it. And there's some photo etch boxes and different things that'll go on here too. Excuse me. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to make sure that glue dries real good, and then I'm going to start doing some filling on that. I may just use a little Mr. Surfacer. I'll sand it a little bit just to make sure it's all nice and even. Then I'll fill that in, and then I'll show you my results. In the meantime, I'll probably do some work on some superstructure. Okay, everything turns really good here. No problems at all. So I was able to get that all glued on without any issues. That one's just a little stiff. There, yeah, it's okay. Okay, so that's where we're at now. I'll be back in just a little bit, and we'll work on probably some superstructure. Maybe I'll start working on the funnel. There's lots and lots of little pieces to build, before this all starts going together. So I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, guys? Okay, we're going to start working on the funnel. This is step 15. The reason I'm doing this is when I build the ship, when I put it together, I want to work from basically the center up and then out to both ends. Okay, so I know I've got a lot of work to do on the hull yet, but I can start putting together components that I can put together now, and then I can add them to the ship as I go. But you don't want to be working all over the place if you can help it. Try and work in one location and get your superstructure done, and then work out toward your ends. These are the basic parts for the funnel. This is B20, B6, B3, and B4. Okay. These need some modifications before we can go much farther. We'll turn that light down just a little bit. Kind of glare in there. Yeah, maybe that's a little better. Anyway, and these are all the other parts that go on the funnel. So there's lots to do. But before I go too far, we need to start looking at some modifications. So there's a ladder here that needs to go, and there's a ladder here that needs to go on that part. And over here there's two holes that are molded. They're for B20. You've got these little bitty pins, and they molded these huge holes for it. This goes like this, but it's going to be, the holes are way too big. So what we need to do is we need to probably fill those holes and just go ahead and re-drill them, because there's no way in the world that that pipe's going to cover those. I think they did it that way because in the molding process they had to mold from the top down, and it's on that curve. So I'll probably fill those and re-drill them to the size I need. But I'll get these ladders off on B4. We've got 2 ladders to remove. I got that one to remove and that one to remove. And then B6 on the top, all of this needs to go. So there's photo etch to replace all of that. So I'll just drill this through, and then we'll put the photo etch over it. Okay, so those things need to be done before we can go much farther. I'll go ahead and do this stuff off camera. You've seen me grinding things off and stuff before. It's basically the same principle. Just be real careful not to take this little line off here, this little circle. I think that part stays. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see when we get to fitting the PE parts, just exactly what needs to be done next. Let me go ahead and get these ladders off and get this this taken care of, and then I'll be back. Okay. Okay, here's these 4 parts all cleaned up. Well, let me switch to the other camera real quick. Okay, ladders are gone. Okay, now there's some little details here that are really softly molded, and they disappear as they go around the edge. I'm probably going to just go ahead and sand those off. I may try and reproduce them. I may try and scribe them. I haven't really decided yet, but the ladders didn't take too long to get rid of. Same with this one. And then on this one, I took the top off. I took the ring clear off. I'll show you in a bit why. But anyway, that's all done. And then on this vent, I did drill the end. Okay, just for a little extra detail. Next step will be to glue these 2 halves together. Let's try this. We'll put this here. See if that works better. Here we go. So we've got this we need to glue together, and then we're going to have a seam to deal with on both sides. It doesn't fit real great. And this side's got a pipe. I'm not sure what the best way to do this lighting is. Still learning. Okay, and you can see these holes now. They're way oversized for these little bitty pins. So I'm going to go ahead and fill those with some, probably some sprue goo. And let that go off, and then I'll probably, I might even just cut these pins off and just glue it directly on. I'll see how it looks. Anyway, let's go ahead and glue this together. Maybe I should be a little farther away. Still learning here, guys. New equipment and all. Let's turn this down just a little bit more. Okay. There we go. There's the seam. Okay, let's glue this. It's hard to do it without going clear off camera. Let's go ahead and go back up to the top camera here. Okay, we'll give that a try. Okay. Yeah, that's really a terrible fit on that joint. Run a little glue on the inside here. I'm not going to glue the top on until I get the side joints, the seams all cleaned up. Okay. Squeeze that for a second. And you can see these, there's a detail there, but it just disappears as you go around the corner. And then I still got some sprue connection points here that I've got to take care of. But I want to, usually when I'm doing stuff like this with where there's a joint, I don't really get too carried away with the sprue connection points till I glue it together. And that way, once it's together, I can clean it up without without flattening the sides too badly. Okay. I'm not going to glue this on yet, but it does have a key. Although a lot of it disappeared when I opened that hole up. That's how that'll go. Okay, well, I'm going to turn the camera off and let this firm up for a few minutes. And maybe I'll go ahead and put the sprue glue in there. And then when these are all firmed up again, I'll come back and I'll clean up some joints. Okay, be right back. Okay, I'll just show you what I've been working on here. A lot of kind of just, boring stuff, so I didn't really tape any of it or film any of it. But if I can get it light just right, I sanded all these edges down. Let's see here. It looks better. I sanded all these edges down, and I actually cut this ring off. I mentioned in a previous video that this thing was way off to one side, so I cut it off and relocated it to the center. That'll be one of the legs for the big tripod. So that's been done. I've actually filled it with Mr. Surfacer. Let's see here. I'll turn this up just a little bit. I filled it with Mr. Surfacer. Let's see, where is my bottle? I like to use, for small fills, I like to use this undiluted. I didn't thin it at all. I have a dedicated brush here I use just for that. And just brush it on. It does shrink back, so you got to do it a couple of times. But for little seam lines and things like that, it works really good. So that I'm pretty happy with. I've still got to sand it one more time, and I may have to fill it just a little bit more. But I think that looks a lot better without that big overhang. And then on this end, oh boy, be careful here. I've done the same thing with this, and I've still got a little bit of filling and sanding to do. This lip right here, the top lip, is supposed to be there. Okay, but the joint right across here, I want to get rid of. Okay, there's going to be photo etch up here. And that'll be put on at a later point. I'm not sure if I'll put that on before I do the painting on the hull or not. But I want to get rid of this joint, but I want to make sure I don't lose these two holes, because that's where the paravane, paravanes will mount. So I've got this in a state now where I just need to kind of let that second coat of Mr. Surfacer dry. So I'll be setting this aside, as you can see here. maybe you can see here, there was a really bad seam all the way across here, all the way back in here, and I pretty much got rid of all of that. I think it'll look a lot better under paint. Okay. So, what I've been working on is this. And I got the ladders all off of it. If you can see it. Let's see here. The ladders are gone. There was some detail across here, and it was molded really, really poorly. I went ahead and just sanded it off. I don't think it'll be missed. I also filled the holes for this, and I mounted this on there, so that took care of that. I did take the detail off the top of this entirely, and I'll show you in a little bit what I'm going to do with that. So that's pretty much ready to start putting photo etch on now. The seams are all real good. Everything came together. You can't really tell until you get the primer on it, but I think that seam will be real good, and this seam will be real good. Okay, let's put this aside, let it dry, and we'll start working on some photo etch on the funnel. Okay, be right back. Okay, I'm struggling a little bit here to show you what I'm doing. I'm trying to figure out the best way to photograph this. The camera's having a hard time focusing on it because it's so shiny, and probably the grid and the mat down here is not helping things. But this is the gun platform that goes on the top of the funnel, or near the top of the funnel. I've got 4 pieces of photo etch that make this up, the base, and then 3 pieces of railing. I've got this one on. I've sanded it to make sure it's nice and clean, so it's kind of shiny. But anyway, I'm using my Boss Smith Industries 5 to 10 second glue. Just taking my time doing it. I'm not brave enough to put it on camera. It takes me a while, and I sit real close to it with my optivisor on. But here's the other 2 pieces that I still need to put on. I've got them bent. This is my big rubber eraser I use for bending photo etch, and I just use a drill bit, whatever size is appropriate. And then I've got this is a tip from Jason over at Model Kit Stuff. I've got a bottle cap with some blue tack on the back, and I just set it kind of at an angle and just sit it there. That way it's where I want it, and I can find it and it doesn't move around on me. This is my vise. I've taken the little pins out, and I've put a piece of frisket paper on top, and it's a real low tack adhesive, so you're not going to struggle getting it off of there. But what's nice is that you can put your big piece down here, okay, and then you can work on things and it's not going anywhere. If you want to, it's real easy to turn it around, so I can see the sides, see what I'm working on all the way around, and then when I get done, it's a simple matter of just popping it off. It's a lot easier than trying to hold it or chasing it around on the bench when you're trying to put these rails on. Okay, so I'll go ahead and get these other 2 parts on, and then I'll come back and show you, and I'll probably take a couple pictures just so you can see a little bit better. I know it's focusing on this mat, but anyway, there's getting a start on a little bit of the PE. Okay, I'll be back in just a little bit when I get these other 2 pieces on. Okay. Okay, here's our platform with all the rails on it. These little triangles on the sides are going to be folded under and glued, but I've got to make up a couple of observation platforms that go underneath it. and then there will be a couple of guns mounted on this that I've got to make up yet. Silly mistake. I glued this on, not thinking that this has to actually, you can't put this on from the side, it actually has to go down over it. So make this up and get it fitted if you're building this before you put your cap on, which, yeah, I've got to do photo etch on here anyway. I just was not thinking and I kind of worked ahead, but with this on here, you can't get this on. Instructions don't say that, but anyway, this isn't permanently attached yet. I just got it on there just to check for the fit. Okay. So today's a holiday here in the US, and I'm pretty sure that my wife's got some plans for this afternoon. So I'm going to go ahead and call this video done. I'll probably put a picture or two up of this. It's kind of hard to see it on camera. And I really appreciate you guys watching. We're right at 850 now. Okay. So you guys all have a great day. If you're in the U.S., enjoy Labor Day. And I'll be back soon with some more. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. See you later.